McNair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
Safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
Ladies and gentlemen, Titan Nation, how's everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Mr. Titan. Today, I have my guest again. He's been on the show before, a good friend. We got Mike. Mike, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, how about you?
I'm hanging in there. What I didn't like was the performance, because I was freezing to death in Nissan Stadium watching the Bengals on the away side. And their fans were going crazy. They're actually really, really rude, to be honest with you. I've been to Arrowhead. They're pretty crappy. I won't lie. I mean, They're not the nicest people.
Listen, even when they weren't good, I went to a Titans Bengals game. It's probably been at least 10 years ago now. But this was when the Bengals were not good. They were terrible.
Yeah.
Even going to that game, the Bengals fans stood out as one of the most annoying groups of people that I've ever encountered in that stadium. Like Ravens fans, I don't mind as much as Bengals fans. They are awful. And that's what it is. And maybe it's just all the losing and they get any taste of success and they turn into monsters. But
yeah, it was pretty bad, man. Like I said, it wasn't fun. But it seems like the Bengals have the Titans numbers. I mean, it looks like it. They were the more physical team. It looked like from offense, defense side. I think probably the biggest takeaway, I think you mentioned it too, was the red zone trips and us converting field goals instead of touchdowns. And when Joe Burrows was in the red zone, they scored on us. So it was way different. We had no pressure whatsoever on Joe Burrows at all. Again, showed that Danico Autry is a big missing piece in that defense, and Jesus, we need him.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the kind of the thing, I mean, like the Titans are who they are, in that they are not going to be a huge high scoring offense. I don't think this year. I mean, it's just not the way that their offensive line isn't good enough to sustain that. But when they've been in the red zone, they've been good and they've converted. And for them to go 0 for 3 in the red zone as far as converting to touchdowns and basically get 6 points out of 3 red zone trips, that's the difference in the game. Like, for all the and I do agree. Like, it was surprising that the Bengals bullied them up front as much as they did on both sides of the ball, because I came into this game, I was like, well, the Bengals aren't going to run the ball for the Titans. Yeah. They run the ball better than anybody has since really the second game of the season. So, yeah, it was surprising that the Bengals had that much success in the trenches. But at the end of the day, if the Titans convert 2 red zone trips out of 3, which is
different game,
their normal rate, it's a totally different game, and the Titans probably win. And maybe we're having a totally different discussion about what this team is. So at the end of the day, I think it's a little bit, hey, the Titans didn't succeed where they normally do. Tip of the hat to the Bengals, but also Tannehill missed a throw to Robert Woods when I thought he was in zone. He also missed another opportunity to hit Wood. There was missed opportunities that weren't necessarily forced by the Bengals, that were just the Titans not being as crisp as they had been in recent weeks. So there's some of that too. So I think, as much as we like to overreact to individual weeks.
Oh my God, Todd Downing needs to go. Todd Downing.
It's a 4-point loss to a very good Bengals team in a game that if a couple red zone trips go another way, it's a totally different story. So
yeah, it looked like the Titans came out a little flat, to be honest with you. They just didn't look like they were on the same page. They look out of sync from the very beginning of the game and stuff like that. And I think you're right. I mean, the Bengals, it felt like a playoff vibe. It felt like a playoff game. And you want to have those, especially going, into later in the seasons and stuff. But you want to kind of just sharpen up those tools and hopefully if we play them again, maybe we will, down the line we can have a better outcome. But what'd you think about? I wanted to ask you this question because this one was, again, I looked at it. Todd Downing. Everyone's trying to blame Todd Downing. I'm not one of them. I'm like, you know what? People haven't realized that he's not going to get fired this season. Like, just leave him alone. Like, he's going to be the offensive coordinator. So you have to deal with him. Now, I will have to admit, when the play calling did get a little bit shakier towards the red zone, it's like they almost kind of were scared to make a mistake. So they played very, conservative football, which they do attend usually when they have a lead. But it seemed like the red zone, it seemed like there was just no urgency. There was no, different play call. What do you think about that? Do you agree on that situation or what?
Yeah, and the thing to me with the red zone too is, and look, they've had a lot of success in the red zone. Like, they were the best red zone team in the NFL coming into this game. So I don't think we should totally like panic on what the red zones look like. But I do think like there seems to me that they should be using Austin Hooper more in the red zone. They should be using Treylon Burks more in the red zone. Like, those guys are big body guys who can go up and win in contested catch situations, which everything is tight in the red zone. That is why it is really hard to convert once you get down there, because space is all constricted. You have to be very decisive as a quarterback, and you have to be able to fire a ball in there into traffic and trust that your guy's going to make a play. And those are the two guys that I really trust to make plays in traffic. So I'd like to see those guys get more involved in the red zone, in the passing game. Especially, the Titans just could not run the ball at all in this game. I think part of that, and I wrote a lot about that for PaulKaharski.com this week. I think part of that has been Jones being out and them kind of shuffling some things around up front. But I also think teams are just they're rolling up their sleeves and they've got a few things in their bag of tricks now that have been proven to work against the Titans run game. One of them is that 6-1 front that the Packers almost lived in that game. And then the other is these run blitzes. And you saw it with the Bengals using Mike Hilton off the corner. That's something in the playoff game too. They blitz him off the corner as a run blitz all the time in this game. And you saw how many tackles for loss he ended up having. So the Titans have to find ways to overcome that kind of stuff. And if you're going to run blitz on early downs, I would like to see them throwing the ball on early downs to take advantage.
I mean, the play action worked. The first and 10, they did a play action to Treylon Burks. It worked perfectly. I think another thing is like, how Derrick Henry had like those strides. Once he gets, that third step in, you can't stop him. They were stopping him on maybe the first or second. Like, he wasn't even getting that momentum to even get that leverage. And I think that's really, really important. And a lot of people need to see is that, I mean, maybe that's how you stop Derrick Henry. It looked like it was working for the Bengals. So
Yeah, I think, the Titans offensive line isn't what it used to be. And that's very, very clear. Now Henry, like, still when he gets to second level, is still the same guy to me. Like, I haven't seen much of a fall off from Henry, frankly. I think it's offensive line is not playing to the level that they need them to play to in all phases, not just pass blocking now. Like, at one point it was like they could run block, but they
couldn't pass. Yeah.
Now it's really not either. Neither's going very well. So they've got to get better up front somehow. And I do think Ben Jones coming back will help that. But and then the other thing is they're going to have to throw teams out of these looks. They're going to have to threaten teams enough that's to say, hey, if you want to run these like ridiculous run, stuffing looks against us, whether it's 6-1, whether it's bear fronts, whether it's, these run blitzes, we are going to pass the ball and punish you for it. Like, we're going to punish you with Treylon Burks. We're going to punish you with Chika Okonkwo. We're going to punish you with Robert Woods, whoever. They've got to make it hurt when teams go into these looks against them. And that'll get them out of it. Eventually they will get out of it, because you would rather give up 6 yards to Derrick Henry on first down than
a bomb.
6 yards to Treylon Burks, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to the looks that teams are throwing against them. And Ben Jones's return, I think, helps with that too, because he sets the offense and helps really run things in tandem with Ryan Tannehill for this offense.
Definitely. And that's basically, guys, that's the breakdown for the Bengals versus Titans. I know it's quick. We don't like to harp too much on the losses. Kind of just, I mean, we have the Eagles next. That's going to be a really important game. Some people say it's a revenge game for AJ Brown. Some people say it's a revenge game for the Titans. Who knows? I know that the Titans need to show up because the Eagles are hot, man. And if we couldn't contain Joe Burrows, then there's sure as hell no way we're going to contain Hurts. And he's just going to, I mean, we saw it on Monday. He was running wild.
Yeah, the rush lanes and rush integrity are going to be paramount this week. And look, they need a healthy Jeffrey Simmons. They need a healthy Bud Dupree. They need a healthy Danico Autry, hopefully, but we'll see, you know, whether he's able to come back for this game. They definitely miss him though. And the more guys they can get out there, the better, because Hurts will be a big time challenge. You know, definitely as a runner, but also, you know, he is a pretty good passer at this point as well. So tough matchup for them. But hey, the Titans have a really good run defense. The Eagles love to run the ball. And that's going to be a strength on strength matchup that'll be interesting to see if maybe the Titans are a little pissed off about being pushed around last week.
Hopefully they wake up something. But again, thank you so much, Mike, for coming on. Always appreciate your insight, and we'll talk again and tighten up, buddy. All right.
Happy to do it anytime, man.